You need a firefighter or, you know what I'm saying, an EMT. You don't always need the police to come out there. That's what they're talking about. Like a police don't have to respond to everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, here they come. Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, it'd be like that sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Josh?
Yeah.
Hey.
How you doing?
What's going on? How you guys doing?
Good. How you doing?
I was just trying to touch base with what's going on.
Well, I mean, it's been suspended.
So if it's been suspended, how come we can't get a report then? That's public records, right? Because the only way she said that the only reason why they had it locked because it was an ongoing investigation.
Yeah.
Well, from what when I worked it, this has been what, a year ago?
Yeah.
There was some other factors in determining whether or not the case was going to be locked. Because there were some threats made. We got some other calls from people involved that made some indication that the involved parties on the other side might be at risk. I can't speak for everyone involved. But you know, I mean, emotions run high when things like that happen and people make statements. Maybe they mean them, maybe they don't. But, I mean,
You talking about the other party as far as the people who, what do you mean the other party as far as who? Who's the other party?
The other side of the equation.
Oh, you talking about the person who committed the murder or whatever, like whoever shot the guy?
Okay, we didn't see it as a murder at all.
Oh, okay.
And like I told Laren's father, it was a unique case because rarely do we have an instance where we can track the movements of every party from the origination all the way to the end. And then we have two eyeball witnesses who don't know anybody who are standing right outside the door when the entire thing occurs. Okay, so that's a unique situation. Most of the time, you get like one witness, I saw some people running, that kind of thing. You don't always have, but I mean, that alleyway behind Franklin, every one of those businesses from the Riverbend all the way to Sportsman, they all have surveillance cameras. And that's exactly what we did. We just went to every business, pulled the video, we can see the lot where the initial conversation happens. You can see them walk all the way down the alley, all the way to Sportsman's. We can track the movements of Laren's group, people that were with him. And then we had a good Samaritan that lives right above Sportsman's, who also had a surveillance camera of the lot. We can track that. His even had audio. And so from that determination, we viewed it as justifiable because of the numbers and then the actions taken by those guys, and the two witnesses that were standing there taking a break said the same thing.
So when the dude the other guy, so whenever the one who fired the gun, did he get tested? Was he tested at the hospital? Like, I mean, you're at a bar, alcohol, I mean, you just was, why not?
Not that night. Because we didn't see any significant impairment on his part.
But like when somebody, that's weird to me, man. I've never, like, if somebody, I think you would go the extra step to rule out everything.
We don't always draw blood on anyone that is involved in an altercation like that. You know, if you're sitting at home and someone breaks into your home and you use deadly force, we're not going to take you to the hospital and draw your blood to see if you were sober or whatever. Even if you're impaired somewhat and you're getting beaten up, I mean, you still have the right to defend yourself. You can't say, well, I can't use my weapon that I'm.
I mean, I just think it's weird, kind of weird if everybody's around a bar where they potentially could be drinking it, and then somebody gets shot. Nobody.
They weren't in the bar. Remember, we tracked them from a parking lot. They walk all the way down an alley. They don't even get in the bar. Okay, he ran into the bar for safety when the assault occurred. We can see both of their faces standing by a telephone pole. The camera in the apartment, if you can, is way up high. And there's a pole, and you can see the heads of both guys just standing there talking. And then over to the east, you can see Laren's group, and he wasn't the lead guy.
Right.
I've always said this, and I said this to his father. It's my opinion that Laren died being a good friend. Because I mean, I'm a man, I was a young man, and you know, when you have buddies that are like your brothers, you'll follow them into stuff, even though in the back of your mind you're like, man, I don't like hanging out with this dude because he always gets me into shit. You know what I mean? Everybody has friends that get you into shit.
Yeah.
But you stick with them because they're your friends, and you know they have your back. So sometimes you get drawn into doing something that you wouldn't necessarily initiate on your own. And Laren, and no one's watched those videos more than me, and I'm a father, so I can definitely identify with his dad. And we had a lot of conversations about this. You know, and Miss Penny, you know, I've been over there. You know, I care about Contrail and all that. You know, I've worked a lot of cases around, you know, people you know and all that. When I watched him running down that alley with the rest of the group, he was the third guy. And you know, you can read body language. You can see some people that are all for it.
Yeah.
They want to go. And then here's Laren. This is exactly how he ran. Down the alley like that. Way behind everybody else. Like, what are you doing? You guys called him Dad, right?
Yeah.
You called him that for a reason, right? Because he's always looking out for everybody else. He was the responsible one. In that circumstance, in my opinion, that he got drug into something he was probably not 100% endorsed.
So let me ask you this. So everything's closed out with the case is suspended, correct? So it's not an ongoing investigation anymore. So how can she get the report?
No, listen. When a case is suspended, it can still be ongoing. We just don't have new information to continue the case. Murders, if they're called murders, are never closed.
Yeah.
Okay? They go cold. Okay? In this case, we ruled it justifiable because of the significant number difference between the two guys, and then there were like 6 other people running at them punching, and we had the 2 witnesses. If we didn't have the 2 eyeball witnesses, things would have went a lot different that night. But we had 2 guys that didn't know anybody, that were just taking a break from the bar, bartenders, whatever. They were just standing there, and they gave the exact same account. And then couple that with the video. These 2 guys are walking. You can tell that there's an exchange between guys. Nobody raises hands. Nobody does anything like that. The one guy, the guy who shot, he's walking along. At the end, you can tell that, you know, people are looking back talking. You can see him draw his weapon. Clear as day in the video. He never points it. He never does anything. He draws a weapon. He turns around like that. Continues jogging down there. When they get across 12th, instead of like walking down the alley or anything like that, they start ducking in between the cars. Like I said, you can see it as clear as day on the video. So they're creeping up on these guys.